Lexie, whether it's diving on the floor, tipping balls out for rebounds, all of the little things that you do to impact this game, how do you describe the desire in you right now?
I mean, we want to win. We want to keep playing. We want another game in Vegas, so that's what we're fighting for. We don't want our season to end.
The Indiana Fever, missing 6 core players, including Caitlin Clark, just handed the Las Vegas Aces a brutal postseason wake-up call, and it was Lexie Hull who made sure the sting burned deepest, especially for A'ja Wilson. Aaliyah Boston put Wilson in defensive shackles, Kelsey Mitchell lit up the scoreboard, and the rest of the Fever rallied like warriors on a mission. This wasn't supposed to happen. Outside of Indiana's faithful, nobody believed this shorthanded squad could stand toe-to-toe with the two-time defending champions. Yet here they are, forcing a do-or-die Game 5 with the WNBA Finals on the line, and the icing on the cake. Lexie Hull didn't just make noise on the court, she clapped back at A'ja Wilson's post-game meltdown, cutting down the so-called MVP with words as sharp as her play. Hull made it clear Indiana won't bow to the league's darlings. If you're riding with the Fever, drop a fired up in the comments.
You've got the momentum right now, close it out and force that Game 5. What are the most important things here in the fourth quarter?
Keeping them off the free throw line, knocking down shots, and just sticking to our scout. I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far, but just keep it going for 10 more minutes.
Thank you.
What happens when the entire basketball world counts you out? Analysts on ESPN dismissed them. The odds makers labeled it a blowout waiting to happen. The Aces laughed at the very idea of being pushed to the edge. But the Indiana Fever, banged up, undermanned, and missing 6 players, including Caitlin Clark, refused to play along with that storyline. This wasn't just another playoff matchup. For them, it was about survival, and they attacked it with the desperation of a team clinging to its very last chance.
You've been in a back against the wall situation just last round where you had to win 2 games in a row. Just what's the mindset kind of going into this game?
No, I mean, it's desperation. And it's not a reckless desperation, it's just a desperation in terms of the urgency that you have to play with. We have been in these situations, we've been in lots of different situations throughout the course of the season, and our players understand what we have to do. We have to leave it all out on the floor.
Picture the scene, a 6th seed limping in with barely half a healthy roster, facing off against the star-studded Aces, champions stacked with talent, trophies, and attitude. Vegas strolled into Gainbridge Fieldhouse ready to slam the door shut, but instead they walked straight into chaos. By the final buzzer, Indiana had shattered every expectation and pulled off one of the grittiest postseason victories in franchise history.
This is a way of getting your game pick.
Oh,
do they do it again today and end this thing? 3, 2, 1.
Yes!
That's not an answer. 3, 2, 1.
The Fever haven't lost back-to-back games, right?
The Fever have never lost consecutive games at home in the postseason. And one other thing, let's show Steph White very quickly. Our incredible researcher, Jenny, went through the tape and found that when Steph White wears her red leather jacket, I do believe we have some video of that, they are undefeated.
Okay.
A perfect 4-0. Does that change your mind at all? Is that your pick?
Yeah, let's just go with it.
You're going Fever?
No, I'm not, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I can't. Drea, make a pick. You haven't done it.
I'm struggling.
Make a pick.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. Make him for the
Do it now. Do it now.
I'm going to go with the Aces. Okay, we'll decide.
The challenges stretched far beyond injuries. A key veteran walked out mid-season for Phoenix, leaving Indiana's locker room even thinner on leadership. Add in weeks of tilted officiating, and the Fever seemed stuck fighting an uphill battle at every turn, and yet they never folded. This marked their 3rd elimination game of the playoffs. Twice before, they'd been shoved to the edge. Twice before, they'd clawed their way back with victories. Game 4 was the next trial of their grit, and Indiana played it like a team that flat out refused to die.
I can't even lie, after last game, I thought the Fever were done. I didn't know if they had any more fight in them. They looked tired, they looked kind of beat up. And somehow they come out today in their Stranger Things jerseys, which by the way, I think have magical powers. They come out in their Stranger Things jerseys and beat the Aces. And they beat the Aces even with A'ja scoring 31 points, I believe it was, playing so much more efficiently than last game. And somehow they come out and win this game with their backs against the wall, win or go home game, and force a Game 5 against the Aces.
It all came down to execution. Indiana valued every possession, hustled for every rebound, and locked in defensively. Their discipline rattled the Aces, turning Vegas's slip-ups into bursts of momentum for the Fever. By halftime, the swagger that usually fuels the champs had evaporated, replaced with visible frustration. And then came the defining moment. Becky Hammon called a timeout she didn't have. The whistle blew, the technical was assessed, and shock washed over the Aces bench. Suddenly, the pressure wasn't on Indiana anymore. It was squarely on Vegas.
Now they're going back to Vegas, but at this point in time, how do you ever bet against the Fever? They've had 18 players play on this team this year because of all of the injuries that they have. And they have hardship contract players that they signed a month ago who are starting for them. Like, it's just kind of, it's really just wild at this point. I don't even know how to predict Game 5. They could really pull it off. Could you imagine they go to the finals? I mean, I guess stranger things have happened.
This wasn't luck, and it wasn't some fortunate bounce. It was grit, composure, and an unshakable belief from a team the world had already written off. Indiana didn't just force another game, they declared themselves one step away from their first finals appearance in 10 years. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell rightfully soaked in the spotlight for their dominance, but Aja Wilson chose a different route. Instead of showing respect in defeat, she fell back on her usual act, throwing a post-game tantrum and casting herself as the victim.
But Aaliyah did say I have a special whistle, and she shot 13 today. She said that to you? Yeah, she said it last game I had a special whistle, which is cool.
Think about this for a moment. Why are the Aces suddenly whining about officiating after spending 3 straight games living off soft whistles? That's the hypocrisy staring everyone in the face. From the very start, it's been Indiana taking the hits. Every time Aaliyah Boston fought for position down low, she was tagged with a foul. Every time Kelsey Mitchell dug in defensively, the refs blew the whistle for the lightest contact. And who gained the advantage from all of it? Las Vegas.
That box score, I'm wondering what's really standing out to you there.
I was just looking at the fouls. Like, Liz had 5, Jackie had 5, Chelsea had 5. And that's very interesting to me because I'm not saying we don't foul. Yeah, we foul here and there, but that's very interesting.
All those free trips to the line kept the Aces in rhythm, padded Aja Wilson's stats, and handed them easy points Indiana was never given. But when Game 4 came around and the Fever finally attacked the paint hard enough to earn their own whistles, the Aces bench exploded like it was the end of the world.
For Becky, certainly felt like a differently officiated game than other parts of the series. I think we had more defensive 3 seconds today than any other part of the playoffs. I just wonder how you felt about the overall flow of the game.
Well, they shot 34 free throws and we shot 11. Next question.
The best part, you could see Becky Hammond's frustration boiling over all night. Every time Aaliyah Boston bumped Aja Wilson, Hammond threw her arms up in exaggerated disbelief. By the time she hit the post-game podium, she didn't even bother analyzing the game. Instead, she snapped out one line. They shot 34 free throws and we shot 11. Next question. No breakdown of execution, no accountability for mistakes, just raw irritation that for once, the whistle wasn't tilted in Vegas's favor. And in that moment, it exposed exactly how much the Aces depend on friendly officiating to feel in control.
I gotta go back and look at the tape, but it seemed like there was a lot of grabbing and holding down there. That got called one way. Anything else? I did appreciate it was a little tighter called, but tighter on both ends would have been nice.
Here's the reality the Aces don't want to face. Indiana's free throws weren't some handout from the refs. They were earned through strategy. Aaliyah Boston battled for deep seals. Kelsey Mitchell and Odyssey Sims attacked downhill with intent, and the guards kept forcing contact at the rim. That's how you generate free throws. Live in the paint and you get rewarded. Vegas, on the other hand, settled. Aja Wilson leaned on contested mid-range shots while her teammates camped out on the perimeter. If you don't challenge the defense at the basket, you don't get whistles. That's just basketball 101. And yet, after the game, Wilson got sarcastic, claiming Boston had a special whistle because she drew 13 attempts. The irony, Wilson practically wrote the book on the special whistle through games 1 to 3.
There were so many other plays where it felt like Asia was bullying other players on the Fever, and I want you to watch this play here with Lexie Hall. She's standing her ground, she's trying to down screen, and Asia just chucks her to the ground. Now, there was no whistle there, and you can see ref number 16 right there. He's watching the whole thing happen. No whistle. they just kind of let it go.
Let's take a step back. Across the series, the foul totals between both teams were almost identical. That alone proves Game 4 wasn't some grand conspiracy. It was simply the balance evening out. Indiana stopped settling for jumpers and went straight at the paint. That's not favoritism. That's basketball executed the right way. So why all the drama? Because when the Aces lose, it's easier to blame the refs than admit to poor execution. But the truth is, Vegas didn't drop Game 4 because the officials turned on them. They lost because Indiana attacked mismatches, forced constant rotations, and made them defend every inch of the floor. 3 Aces starters fouled out with 5 apiece. Not from bias, but because they couldn't keep pace. Add Becky Hammond's meltdown timeout, burning one she didn't even have, and Indiana suddenly had a free point and possession in crunch time. That wasn't the referees stealing a game. That was Vegas handing Indiana an opportunity, and the Fever cashing it in.
4.
What? Oh my God, that's interesting. That's what I was looking at. But we'll do better. We gotta play better defense.
By interesting, do you mean that shit?
Yeah, I can't say that because I got a brand to protect. But
You say it, I have no brand.
yeah, it's interesting. But we'll be back.
Once you cut through the excuses, the Aces Game 4 meltdown falls flat. There was no anti-Vegas conspiracy. They got punished in the paint, dominated on the glass, and outworked by a Fever team running with half a roster. That special whistle Aja Wilson complained about. It wasn't special at all. It was Indiana finally playing elite basketball and forcing the Aces to actually defend.
What do you think of the job Aaliyah's been doing this series?
I mean, she's a force in the paint, and we wouldn't have won last night's game, any of our games without her. So I'm proud of her ability to be consistent and continuing to impact the game, not only offensively, but her ability to impact Asia's game defensively has been huge for us this series.
You heard that right. Lexie Hull didn't hold back. She gave credit exactly where it was due, to Aaliyah Boston, the anchor who locked down Aja Wilson from start to finish. No fluff, no theatrics, just the facts. Sure, Wilson's stat line showed 31 points, but every one of them was a grind. Boston contested every shot, cut off every drive, and made nothing come easy. And while she was suffocating Wilson on one end, she was dominating on the other, dropping 24 points, grabbing 14 boards, and dishing out 5 assists. That's not just good basketball, that's complete control. Boston didn't just defend, she owned the floor, forcing Wilson into a war for every bucket, then punishing her with buckets of her own.
Hull getting back to Young. Young, 3 to shoot, bounces, Lloyd gets swallowed up by Boston.
The analysts couldn't look past it. One called Boston's performance tremendous, stunned at how she could deliver crushing screens, seal defenders deep in the paint, finish through contact, and then turn right around to protect the rim, all while keeping her composure. That's the kind of two-way dominance Indiana hasn't witnessed since the Tamika Catchings era. When your young center makes the reigning MVP scratch and claw for every single point, you know you're looking at something special.
Coming off the on ball, getting her feet set. 2-point game, Boston center of the lane, finishes plus the foul.
But Boston wasn't carrying the load alone. Kelsey Mitchell was on fire, dropping 25 points, each jumper sharper than the one before. And when the pressure was at its peak, she calmly stepped to the stripe and sank free throws as Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted with MVP chants. Think about the poetry in that moment. A player who spent years overlooked, who carried this franchise through its darkest stretches, now standing in the heart of a roaring arena, hearing her name lifted like a crown. That wasn't just scoring, that was redemption.
Mitchell dances, takes, and connects with Lloyd coming in. Backdoor, Mitchell lays it in. On a beautiful delivery from Boston, plus the foul.
And her ability to contest.
Mitchell burying the three. Here's Mitchell. Mitchell able to hit.
Stitch of it.
Mitchell stops and hits. End this thing today. Mitchell splits the D.
And then there was Lexie Hull. By all logic, she shouldn't have even been out there for heavy minutes. After taking a brutal hit from Wilson earlier in the series, she was nursing a sore back that begged for rest. But instead of sitting out, she became Indiana's defensive heartbeat. Hull shadowed Jackie Young every possession, ripped away 4 steals, battled for 7 rebounds, and still managed to pour in 7 points. But the real story wasn't in the numbers. It was in her will. She threw her body on the floor for every loose ball, jumped into every scrap, and made it clear the Fever weren't going to be shoved around.
In fewer games as Hull knocks it away and it stays inbound.
That's the second time that Hull has saved the layup with her weak side help defense.
Shea Petty in off the bench. Stephanie White liked the way she battled in game 3. Boston gives it up. Mitchell with Wilson switched on her. Now Young gets back. Hull connects on a 3.
Everyone expected Boston and Mitchell to carry the load, but it was Odyssey Sims who delivered the shock factor. After stumbling badly in Game 3, she stormed back with a vengeance, dropping 18 points on a blistering 6 for 9 from the field. She even drilled her lone three-pointer, a shot that landed like a dagger to Vegas's momentum. Her relentless drives carved up the defense, collapsing the aces and creating space for Boston and Mitchell to thrive. It wasn't just scoring, it was a masterclass in resilience, a redemption game unfolding live in front of everyone.
Yeah, Odyssey, obviously you were 0 for 7 on Friday. Just what did you do in these 2 days to kind of have a kind of bounce back, or what mindset were you coming into this game?
Just leave that game where it is. It's the past. Focus on today. Just didn't change my mindset, didn't change anything besides just being more aggressive, making sure we got to beat the ball. I mean, nobody can stop her down there. Loved her aggression today. When we carry it over on Tuesday and keep it going so we can get to the finals.
It didn't grab headlines, but Shea Petty's steady hand was priceless. 7 points, 2 steals, and maybe most importantly, the poise to settle the storm when things threatened to spiral. She read the floor, slowed the pace, and gave Indiana the balance they desperately needed. Those plays won't end up in flashy highlights, but they're the kind that decide playoff battles. When Vegas tried to shake the Fever, Petty's composure held the line and kept them locked in. Piece by piece, Indiana silenced every doubt. Boston locked down the MVP. Mitchell lit up the scoreboard. Hull fought like a warrior. Sims found redemption, and Petty kept the wheel steady. Together, they showed that "we over me," Boston's mantra, isn't just a catchphrase. It's the very identity of this team.
It's awesome. I mean, you've seen obviously our fan base grow, but there's fans that have been here the whole time. There's players. I mean, Kelsey's been here forever, her whole career. So to be able to kind of be in this moment and appreciate where we've come and where we're continuing to go. This is the best time to be in the Fever franchise.
Winner takes all. One night in Vegas. The finals are on the line, and the loser goes home. After Indiana Fever shook Gainbridge Fieldhouse to its core with their Game 4 triumph, the series now heads to Michelob Ultra Arena, a fortress that has swallowed visiting teams whole. Tight quarters, deafening fans, and a Las Vegas squad desperate to defend its home turf. Indiana knows exactly what's coming. A storm of noise, pressure, and history weighing on every possession. One win stands between them and their first finals appearance in a decade. 10 years of frustration, mediocrity, and rebuilding all come down to 40 minutes of basketball. Think about it. Back in 2015, when the Fever last reached this stage, Caitlin Clark was still in high school, Aaliyah Boston wasn't yet a household name, and Kelsey Mitchell was just starting her college career. Now they're the ones carrying Indiana forward, redefining a franchise that once lingered at the bottom of the league and writing a new chapter in its history.
The biggest thing for us is again, like we've been through everything. So being in these types of situations isn't new to us. It's when we've been at our best, and we've got to continue to be. This group really just rallies around one another. The desperation and the urgency that we play with when we're in those positions has been exactly what we need, and we've just got to bottle that up and take it with us. I mean, it's a one-game season right now, and we got to carry it all over.
Las Vegas isn't about to fold. Aja Wilson just became the youngest player in WNBA history to reach 1,000 career playoff points. You can bet she'll come out in Game 5 determined to erase the memory of Boston dominating her in Game 4. Expect Wilson to attack from the opening tip, hunting for whistles and trying to force Indiana's front court into early foul trouble. That's Becky Hammond's game plan. Feed Wilson relentlessly until something breaks. But Indiana already has a proven blueprint. In Game 4, Boston carved out 24 points, pulled down 14 rebounds, and dished 5 assists, all while forcing Wilson into contested shots at every turn. Kelsey Mitchell closed the game with 25 points and ice-cold free throws. throws. Odyssey Sims sliced through the Aces defense for 18 points, opening the floor for her teammates. And Lexie Hull, battling a sore back, grabbed 7 boards, swiped 4 steals, and pushed Jackie Young into frustration. That's the formula. Disciplined play in the paint, balanced scoring, and defense that forces the Aces to earn every inch. Game 5 will test it all, but the template is already there.
And game away from the finals, where you came from, in August when people were going down with injuries. I mean, how do you wrap your head around that, knowing that there's still work to be done?
Yeah, honestly, for me, all the credit has to go to God. Seriously, I mean, just think about where we are right now. Just like you said, we lost people to injuries, and no one stepped down, no one dropped their heads. But I think Steph and the entire staff just did a great job of us telling us, like, listen, it doesn't matter who's in this locker room, it's about who's in here, and we're going to do everything we can to be successful, and we just kept working.
Game 5 will be decided in the matchups and execution. The spotlight remains on Boston versus Wilson, a true heavyweight showdown, but Mitchell's ability to thread through traps and handle double teams will determine whether Indiana's offense flows or stalls. Hull's presence is just as crucial. Her lockdown defense on Jackie Young could swing key possessions even if it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. As Stephanie White put it best, the desperation and urgency we bring in these moments has been exactly what the team needs. That mindset has become the Fever's identity, resilient when everyone expects them to break. Vegas plays with pride, Indiana plays with belief, and just one more night fueled by that belief could propel the Fever into the finals, turning a season of doubt into the beginning of something historic.
I think for me, this from day one has just been a really special group. We've hit a lot of adversity collectively. I had some tough stuff that I was going through personally, and this group would just rallied around me, rally around each other, and truly do live the mantra of we over me. And it's just been a really, really special group. You don't always get these opportunities to coach groups like this, at the professional level especially. And I think because they're who they are as human beings, it allows us to continue to put one foot in front of the other.
The Indiana Fever aren't just surviving, they're rewriting the rules of what it means to compete on the biggest stage. With Caitlin Clark sidelined by injuries and analysts counting them out, this team refused to back down. Aaliyah Boston anchored the paint, Kelsey Mitchell closed when it mattered most, and Lexie Hull brought relentless toughness, shutting down Aja Wilson and turning her post-game tantrum into a lesson in grit. Now it all comes down to one game, and whether the Fever reach the finals or not, their fight has already made a statement. This isn't the same old Indiana team. This is a squad that thrives on doubt, feeds off pressure, and is shifting the balance of power in the league. If you're fired up for the Fever, comment fired up, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.